All right. Hey, what up, YouTube? This is Steven. How's it going? So I'm back with another video, and I just want to talk a little bit about the, Meghan Markle, Prince Harry situation. Congratulations to the couple. The groom and bride to be. A happy couple on their engagement. Congratulations. um, but I have noticed some things floating around in the blogosphere, social media, internet, etc. So I just want to come through and talk about a couple of things. All right. All right. First thing is about the whole Nazi situation. Is Prince Harry a Nazi? Um, and by the way, I actually knew about this story for a while. They actually did this story on some countdown on E! Entertainment years ago. Long story short, I actually don't think that Prince Harry is a Nazi, but I do think perhaps he is, like many white people, just very ignorant, right? Very ignorant and aloof to racism and bigotry, all right? Very well, he could be a Nazi, but the thing is, though, I don't know if he could go to the Nazi meetings and bring Meghan with him. Then again, some people are saying that she's like a blood sacrifice. I don't know. But again, I don't think he could bring Meghan Markle to his Nazi meetings. All right. Personally, I think it may have just been, from what I've heard and what I remember from the story that he did, it was supposed to be like he went to a costume party or, a costume ball or whatever. He went to go buy a costume. However, they ran out of costumes. They didn't have many left. And that was the one that they had left. It was probably in his size. Again, he should have known better than to wear it, right? But again, white people can be legitimately ignorant, being on some white privilege shit, right? And, we all, to be fair, we all are kind of ignorant to someone else's plight, to be fair, right? Like black men. And this video is more so for black people, obviously. But, like black men can be kind of ignorant to some things that black women go through, right? It's not purposely ignorant, at least if you legitimately don't know. But some people, I think, are willingly ignorant. I don't think that was the case with Prince Harry. I don't know. But also, I don't want to make this video as if I'm going so hard for Prince Harry and defending him. I really don't want to come off like that. But long story short, I don't know. I think it's a bit too obvious, right? Usually, I think it's supposed to not be obvious if you're a Nazi, at least in his position. But then again, maybe he just wanted to be bold. It was a Halloween costume, I guess. I don't know. But that's something that perhaps some black men want to throw up in black women in Meghan Markle's face, oh, he's a Nazi. You're a fetish. All right, how that they let some black men kind of let her throw that around when it comes to black women in interracial dating. Another story for another day. But another thing that needs to be kind of talked about is Meghan Markle black. Well, according to her, she identifies as being mixed, part black, part white. So she doesn't identify solely as black. Okay. And, it's a really good example of how biracial people's identity is often in a state of flux. Very constantly moving. It's not really set. A black person's identity is pretty much set. Monoracial, right? White people's identity is pretty much set. But the biracial person, it seems again, 1 minute you're this, 1 minute you're that, 1 minute you're here, you're there, right? So hopefully Meghan Markle knows herself well enough to determine who and what she is as a person, of course, and also as a race, her race too, so that she does not turn into a tragic mulatto on the international stage. I don't want to see that play out. All right. Some black women are taking this as a win. I think that those black women are, yet again, contributing to their own erasure because they wanted this woman to represent black women. But then again, when Megan and women like Megan start to take opportunities that go for black women, then it's a problem. So you gotta be careful with that. To the black women out there, you setting yourself up to be erased, right? You can't set yourself up to be erased anymore. And sadly, on some level, I think some black women, as well as I think the black community in general, want women like Meghan Markle to represent black women, because I think on some level, and some people don't want to admit this, but we got to be real though. I think they feel like it's a better look for black women to look like Meghan Markle than to look like, say, Lupita or Kelly Rowland or Tika Sumpter, you know? And that is a bitter pill to swallow, especially if you are a dark-skinned black woman in the community. But I feel like the community, even some dark-skinned black women, I feel like kind of have that mindset. Some, not all. And they kind of want black women to look like Meghan Markle. But of course you want those black women to marry black men, right? So the black men kind of are like if she was marrying a black man, oh, she would be black. But if she was marrying, like for the black men, right? But since she's marrying white, it's like, oh, half breed, bed wench, right? So all of a sudden, the biracial woman that you go so hard for, you ain't going so hard for her anymore, right? And also, a bit of a sidebar here. Did anyone know that Meghan Markle was on an episode of Nick News? Anybody remember Nick News? If you're from the 90s, if you lived in the 90s, you may have remembered Nick News. Anybody remember that? But yeah, it's like a clip of her on the internet floating around on YouTube of her being on like Nick News and her advocating for women by asking, I think Dawn, the company that makes the dishwashing liquid, to like redo their ad so that it says like people instead of women when it comes to like washing dishes, right? So good for Megan. But yeah, some people also brought up, like, again, if Meghan Markle was marrying Tyrese, how would people feel about that? How would black women feel about that, right? How would black men feel about that, right? You see, like, it's just, we kind of call out biracial folks for playing the fence and trying to be this when it's convenient and that when it's convenient. But black people kind of do it too, in a different way, but they want to claim them when it's convenient and then want to be like, oh no, you ain't black when it's convenient, right? Instead of just picking one side and sticking to it, right? And that's not fair, right? That's not fair. That's not right. Just like we call out the biracial people who do it, we gotta call out the black people who do it. Why are we doing this as a community? Why do we feel the need to do this, right? But I'm going to bring this video to a close. I don't really have much to say, much else to say about this topic. Congratulations to them. I have heard some conspiracy theories, of course, thrown around. Also, I heard some negative, nasty things thrown around, like, she's a bed wench. She's, pretty much just a piece of a vagina, right? And I don't really like that type of stuff being thrown around about Megan, because it just, especially if she's being kind of like viewed as black, right? And I think she would be like, quote unquote black adjacent, right? But yeah, it's like, oh, a fetish, seemingly from black men who come in with the fetish thing, right? But it's like, perhaps she is a fetish, but these same things don't come around when you see the black men in interracial relationships. It's just like folks ain't got much to say. And I think that's the issue in the community too. I think we as a community have to take a stance on interracial dating for both genders, whether it's okay or whether it's not okay. Until we do that, we're going to have this resentment and animosity, right, towards one another. You know, black men towards black women towards black men, etc. So we got to find a way to deal with that. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment. Adios and goodbye for now.